Hi guys, in some great news for Keir Starmer for a number of reasons and terrible for Sunak and the Tories, another Conservative has defected to the Labour Party. This time it's Mark Logan, one of those who was swept to victory on the coattails of Boris Johnson and get Brexit done. Mark won a seat with a very slim majority and it seems he wants to stand for the Labour Party at the election in a few weeks' time. However, there's already a candidate for Labour in the seat, so I'm not sure what will happen there. Anyway, Sky News had the story.
But yeah, this is bad news for the Prime Minister. Another defection there. You can see him on your screens. That's Mark Logan. He had a tiny majority in Bolton North East, won it in the Brexit election when so many red wall seats that had long been held Labour turned Tory. He just had a majority of just under 400. So, I mean, the writing on the wall there, very likely that seat will go back to Labour. It must be one of the most marginals there are in the country. But Mark Logan hoping to stand in another Labour seat. But also, Mark, yes, it is bad news for Rishi Sunak, but I would also say that it's helpful for Labour because it detracts a bit from the crisis they've got in their own ranks at the moment. The deselection potentially of Diane Abbott, the MP, the former MP for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, she's represented that seat for 37 years. The potential deselection of her, she says she's going to be barred from standing, has caused massive ripple effects in the Labour Party with accusations that Starmer is trying to purge the left from the party with other candidates on the left being barred from standing.
Okay, now is this the third Tory that people were talking about? If you remember back a few weeks ago when Natalie Elphicke was the second to defect to Labour and she crossed the aisle in a very dramatic way in the House of Commons, there was talk of a third Conservative. Is Mark Logan that third Conservative? And why did he not defect before? Now, if I'm being extremely cynical, which I usually am, I think it's a case of let's hold on to Mark. Mark, don't cross the aisle yet, or don't defect yet. We need to keep you in reserve because maybe when things get a bit tough during the election campaign, we can pull out this ace from our sleeve, or we can play this card and it will distract the public from the internal problems, whatever those problems may be. So is this the case? Was Mark Logan sitting on the sideline waiting to be told now is the time to defect? And what is Mark Logan getting in return? Because as was pointed out in the report, he may be the candidate for Labour, and of course he would win the seat because this seat was originally held by Labour until 2019. So in 2017, the original candidate won it with a majority of just under 4,000. Mark won it for the Conservatives in 2019 with 378 votes as a majority. But the current candidate for Labour is Ciarán Entwistle, which is a fantastic surname. It's epic. So what's going to happen to Entwistle? Is she going to stand aside and allow Mark Logan to run for the seat? If he does, he will win it, no doubt. Will she be sent somewhere else? Is she just going to stand down? Or is Mark Logan going to stand down and Entwistle is going to run for that seat? But it seems probably part of the agreement, it's possible part of the agreement for him to defect was, if you defect, you can have this seat because it's going to be a Labour seat. And of course, this is a great tool for Rishi Sunak, for Keir Starmer against the Conservatives. So once again, another defection. Now, it doesn't have the same impact as Natalie Elphicke or the doctor before because it's not happening in Parliament. Parliament, of course, has been dissolved. So it's not as dramatic, but it's still something that can deflect from current problems within the Labour Party. Of course, what's happening with Diane Abbott is extremely embarrassing for the Labour Party. It's not been resolved. It's continuing to drag on. And this is a great way to deflect from that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.